The ceiling fan keeps turning slow. Above the copper afterglow, waiters drift like folded dreams through clouds of blue and violin strings. A woman laughs near table 10, then disappears like smoke again. Her perfume lingers in the heat with dusty roses and wet concrete. The trumpet bends a weary line somewhere beneath the neon sign, and every glass along the bar reflects a tired little star. I stir the ice and watch it drown. The room keeps sinking softly down into the velvet, into the haze, into those sleepless wartime days. That piano sounds like black satin rain, dragging silver through my veins. Every chord half burns, half bleeds, like newspapers nobody reads. A cigarette asleep in gold, a pair of gloves the color old, and shadows stretching near the stair like tired dancers in the air. No one asks what year it is. The clocks forgot the shape of this. The orchestra keeps breathing low like winter wrapped in radio. The taxis hiss and shine, street lights melt like watered wine. Inside the room the candles lean toward a song too soft to mean. The singer closes both her eyes, lets the final blue note rise, and all the lonely men below pretend they still have somewhere to go. The ceiling fan keeps turning slow. Above the copper afterglow, while midnight folds the city thin and lets the silence slowly in. Velvet cherries in a silver bowl, trumpets spinning lazy gold, The bartender with diamond shoes pours another shade of blue. Cigarette ash on piano keys, smoke moving slow like ocean breeze. A woman dressed in emerald light laughs somewhere beyond my sight. The drummer taps a crooked flame. Nobody here says their real name. The saxophone bends through the dark like lipstick stains across the park. Those little jazz cafe marquises buzzing softly through the freeze, while taxis hum on midnight steam like something halfway through a dream. A fur coat sleeping on a chair, champagne ghosts inside the air, and every table dressed in white looks borrowed from another life. The singer leans into the glow, her voice hangs low and rolls slow, like bourbon poured on velvet stairs, or perfume drifting through the prayers. The bass keeps walking down the floor, past the cracked revolving door, where winter presses at the glass and watches all the shadows pass. No one dances very fast, everybody moves like glass, smooth and tired, rich and strange, like old money losing change. The room smells faintly of cologne, burnt tobacco, dust and stone. And somewhere near the neon bar, a girl keeps humming to the stars. The band slides into one last tune, soft as dust beneath the moon, while candle flames begin to swim, and every light inside grows dim. Velvet cherries in a silver bowl, trumpet spinning, lazy gold. The city fades beneath the rain, but this old room still breathes the same. Black coffee cooling near my hand, silver rain across the stand, taxi headlights sliding thin through cracks the winter's creeping in. The jukebox hums a crooked hymn, half the room already dim. A waitress with a tired smile keeps drifting down the smoky aisle. Your cigarette still burns alone inside the tray beside the phone, like something trying not to fade in all this golden cabaret. The trumpet wears a bruised disguise, blue velvet wrapped around its cries, while bourbon circles in the glass like little storms that never pass. The dancer sleeping near the wall, one glove hanging from the shawl, and piano notes like falling snow move too soft and much too slow. Nobody speaks above the band, everybody understands. This room survives on whispered lies, cheap perfume and tired eyes. The drummer brushes midnight dust across the rhythm thick with rust. The bass line walks beneath the floor like footsteps from another war. Outside the station whistles low, streetcars groaning through the snow. Inside the candles lean and sway like they might finally drift away. You once said cities never sleep, but cities only learn to weep. Behind the bars and hotel signs, inside these tired neon spines. Now the singer folds the tune underneath the dying moon, and every lonely table there pretends somebody still might care. Black coffee cooling near my hand, silver rain across the stand, while morning waits beyond the haze to steal the last of all this jazz. Red lamps glowing through the smoke, someone laughs, another chokes. Cards and whiskey stain the night under chandeliers gone white. The pianist in rolled up sleeves plays like he still can't believe morning ever dares arrive to interrupt this place alive. There's a woman near the stage, turning slowly through the haze, emerald earrings catching fire every time the trumpets climb higher. The room smells rich with cedar wood, French perfume and neighborhoods where velvet curtains hide the rain and jazz still rattles window panes. The drummer keeps a crooked swing, barely touching anything, like footsteps pacing hotel halls or shadows leaning on the walls. A cigarette burns gold and thin between two fingers pale as gin. Its smoke unwinds toward the light like silk escaping through the night. Nobody asks where anyone's from. The orchestra struck keeps carrying on, smooth and dangerous and slow, like rivers only gamblers know. Near the bar a couple sways, half a beat behind the phrase. Their tired shoes across the floor sound softer than the storm outdoors. The trumpet rises dark and sweet, melting through the summer heat, while glasses bloom with melting ice, and every smile looks overpriced. Somewhere outside engines cry, streetlights flicker, taxis slide, but inside time forgets its name, and every hour feels the same. The singer lifts her chin at last, lets the final chorus pass, warm and low and deep as wine floating through the smoke-lined night. Red lamps glowing through the smoke. Someone laughs, another chokes, and somewhere in that velvet glow, the whole old city's breathing slow. Moonlight sleeping on the rail, porters dragging leather trails, station clocks half drowned in steam. Everything feels half a dream. The cafe down on Mercer Street still smells faintly of wet concrete. Coffee cups and cherry wine, cheap cigars and Valentine's signs. A woman in a navy dress fixes pearls against her neck, while somewhere near the window frame a trumpet calls without a name. Smoke hangs low beneath the fans, slow as tired wedding bands, floating through the amber heat, like memories that missed a beat. The piano rolls a lazy tide, black lacquer shining silver white, and every note falls soft and deep, like secrets people never keep. Outside the newspapers spin along the storm and gutter wind. Inside the orchestra glows warm like candles hiding from the storm. The singer hums with lowered eyes, her voice aged gently before its time, velvet rough around the edge, soft as dust on window ledges. A waiter slides through crowded chairs, balancing the midnight air, while bourbon circles slow as gold inside the hands grown tired and old. Nobody rushes, nobody leaves. The city barely seems to breathe. This room exists outside the day, where broken hearts decay and sway. A saxophone bends down the hall like distant footsteps through it all. Warm and lonely, bruised and sweet, like rain still trapped beneath the street. The final chorus starts to fade. Lipstick marks on crystal trays, and somewhere past the velvet blue, morning waits to ruin the view. Moonlight sleeping on the rail, porters dragging leather trails, while jazz keeps breathing low and thin. Like smoke, the night is folded in. Champagne sleeping in the ice, roulette laughter cold as spice, silver heels across the floor, softly near the mirrored door. A white tuxedo by the band, cards collapsing in his hand, while the drummer taps the night with velvet brushes, feather light. The ballroom breathes in amber smoke, every chandelier half broke, still glowing warm enough to hide the little wars people keep inside. The singer stands beneath the gold, 23 but sounding old, her voice like satin torn apart and stitched back loosely at the heart. Outside the river shivers black, streetcars groan along the tracks, newspapers drift through rainy steam, like headlines drowning in a dream. A saxophone cuts slow and low, like midnight leaning through the snow, warm and bruised and dressed in blue, the way old jazz recordings do. The waiter pours another round, crystal trembling with the sound of piano chords that fall like dust across the tables lined with rust. Nobody dances close tonight, everyone moves polite and slight, like ghosts remembering a tune played somewhere beneath the moon. lipstick stains on cigarette ends, women laughing without friends, perfume mixed with burning thread, and all the little things unsaid. The bass line walks the room alone, deep as church bells made of stone, pulling every smoky breath further from the edge of death. Near the coat room, velvet swings, fur collars and diamond rings, while somewhere in the back cafe a lonely trumpet starts to sway. The final chorus drifts away, slow as ashes turning gray, and every soul beneath the light looks softer than the rain tonight. Champagne sleeping in the ice, roulette laughter cold as spice, while dawn waits pale beyond the bar to steal the glow from every star. Blue velvet curtains breathing slow, ashes falling soft as snow. A midnight train beyond the square moans somewhere through the smoky air. The club downstairs on Bleecker Lane still leaks piano through the rain, warm and crooked, tired and sweet, like old footsteps along the street. A woman with a lacquered smile sits alone the whole last mile, turning bourbon in her hand to the rhythm of the band. Her diamond bracelet catches flame every time they call his name, though nobody remembers now who first taught the room to bow. The trumpet leans against the dark like a match about to spark, low and golden, bruised and dry, like goodbye that won't quite die. Near the bar the glasses sweat, lipstick marks and silhouettes, perfume tangled in the heat with polished shoes and damp concrete. The drummer barely stirs the time, soft as dust on aging wine, keeping all the shadows tied to the slow collapse inside. Outside the river swallows light, taxis drift through silver night, while hotel windows blink and fade above the alleys soaked in gray. The singer hums with lowered head, words dissolving into red, into smoke and chandelier glow, into places people don't go. No applause arrives too fast, everyone just lets it pass. lets the final piano line hang suspended over time. A waiter folds abandoned coats. Someone burns forgotten notes. And somewhere underneath the room, the bass still walks against the gloom. Blue velvet curtains breathing slow, ashes falling soft as snow, while dawn waits pale behind the glass to erase another night of jazz. Golden powder on the floor, high heels near the dressing door, someone tuning up backstage, while smoke curls slowly through the stage. The orchestra in pale white coats warms the room with tired notes. Clarinet and trumpet shine, mixing with the scent of wine. A mirror framed in fading gold reflects a room both young and old, where lonely millionaires pretend the night might never have an end. The singer lights another flame. Nobody asks her real name. She wears satin black as rain and pearls the color of champagne. The drummer starts a lazy sway, pulling all the room away, soft and smooth and dressed in blue, like records played till they wore through. The piano falls in silver streams, like hotel elevators in dreams, gliding through the amber haze of half-forgotten cabaret days. Outside the avenue still glows, rain collecting on the roads. Taxi tires whisper low beneath the melting neon glow. Inside the club the glasses ring, ice and bourbon shimmering, while couples drift in velvet light, slow as smoke across the night. A saxophone begins to cry, warm and cracked and dignified, like old love letters left unread inside a drawer beside the bed. The singer leans into the tune, soft beneath the copper moon, her voice floating rich and thin, like perfume folded into gin. Nobody dares disturb the air, even silence settles there, heavy as a fur coat sleeve, or things too beautiful to leave. The final trumpet bends and fades down the darkened cabaret, and somewhere in the quiet glow, the whole room breathes unbearably slow. Golden powder on the floor, high heels near the dressing door, morning waiting cold outside, while jazz and smoke refuse to die. Rainwater shining on the curb, taxi engine softly purr, midnight folded into steam, under every broken beam. The hotel lounge on Archer Lane still hums low against the rain. Velvet booths and marble floors, crystal ashtrays near the doors. A pale blonde singer dressed in cream moves slow beneath the amber gleam. One long glove against the mic, eyes half closed against the light. The orchestra behind her glows, warm as whiskey poured too slow. Clarinet and muted brass drifting through the smoky glass. A lonely bellboy by the stairs polishes the midnight air, while businessmen in tailored gray lose themselves till break of day. The piano spills a river dark across the room in silver sparks. Every chord worn smooth and deep, like promises too tired to keep. Perfume tangled in cigar smoke, lipstick stains on folded notes, champagne sleeping in the ice, everything expensive twice. Outside the city drags its feet, wet newspapers down the street, streetlights bending in the storm, trying hard to still look warm. The singer reaches for a line, soft as dust on aged wine, her voice trembling low and thin, like old radio violin. Nobody claps too loud tonight. Everyone just holds the light, lets the final trumpet cry, hover low before goodbye. The drummer brushes through the dark, gentle as a fading spark, keeping all the shadows tied to the ache they try to hide. Near the bar, the glasses glow, red as theaters long ago. And somewhere underneath the tune, the room keeps swaying with the moon. Rainwater shining on the curb, taxi engines softly purr, morning waiting pale and gray to wash another song away. Dusty roses near the stage, yellowed songs on wrinkled pages. A ceiling fan turns tired and slow above the lake cafe below. The trumpet player loosens his tie, lets another blue note cry, warm and cracked around the edge, like smoke caught on a window ledge. A brunette dressed in satin white sings beneath the copper light, one hand curled around the stand, the other wrapped around her hand. The room is thick with midnight heat, burnt tobacco, rain-soaked streets, whiskey melting into ice in glasses far too old and nice. Near the back a poker game flickers low without a name. Coins and laughter drift like steam through the orchestra's slow dream. The piano leans into the dark, soft as tired Central Park, every chord descending low like elevators moving slow. Outside, the avenue still hums, streetcars rattling through the slums, neon trembling in the rain, like lipstick running down a frame. The singer's voice turns rough and thin, sweet as bourbon poured in gin. A little smoke, a little ache, like promises too late to break. Nobody watches clocks in here, time dissolves in chandeliers under velvet shadows long. Everything becomes a song. The drummer barely stirs the beat, brushes sliding soft and neat, keeping all the lonely souls moving slow and staying whole. Near the coat room, candlelight paints the fur collars gold white, while somewhere through the amber gloom a saxophone invades the room. The final chorus fades away, warm as ashes turning gray, and every table in the haze looks trapped between 1,000 days. Dusty roses near the stage, yellowed songs on wrinkled pages, morning waiting cold outside, while jazz and smoke refuse to die. Red velvet melting in the dark, taxi lights in Central Park, rain collecting on the brim of hats pulled low and evenings dim. The orchestra behind the bar, tunes beneath a fading star, clarinet and worn trombone, sounding older than the phone. A cigarette and crimson lips, champagne balanced at the hips. A singer dressed in midnight blue steps into the smoky view. Her satin gloves shine pale and thin, like moonlight drowning slowly in the mirror hanging near the stairs. Above the clouds of hotel air, the piano drips like blackened rain across the room and through the vein of every lonely soul below, pretending they've got somewhere to go. Near the back, the gamblers lean, silver dollars turning green, laughter cracking through the haze like broken chandeliers ablaze. Outside, the city drags its feet, wet newspapers kiss the street, streetcars groaning through the storm, trying hard to still stay warm. The singer lowers half a note, smoke wrapping around her throat, soft and tired, bruised and low, like radio from long ago. A waiter glides through amber light, carrying the dying night. Crystal glasses softly ring beneath the orchestra's slow swing. Nobody mentions morning here. Time dissolves in chandeliers. Every table dressed in gold looks expensive, sad and old. The drummer brushes through the tune like dust beneath a winter moon, keeping all the shadows tied to the ache they cannot hide. The trumpet rises one last time, warm as bourbon, dark as wine, floating through the smoky blue like a train nobody knew. Red velvet melting in the dark, taxi lights in Central Park, while dawn waits cold beyond the glass to bury one more night of jazz. Of jazz. Candle wax along the tray, last slow dances fade away. Velvet curtains breathing heat over bourbon, smoke, and street. The band leader in tailored black leans beside the cigarette rack, counting out the final tune underneath the tarnished moon. A woman in a silver gown lets her tired hair fall down, pearls asleep against her skin like tiny frozen drops of gin. The clarinet begins to sigh, warm and low and half alive, sliding through the copper haze of forgotten cabaret days. Outside the harbor coughs and rain, ship horns crying through the grain, streetlights melting on the pier like old memories reappearing here. The piano drifts in velvet streams, soft as elevator dreams, every chord dissolving slow into places people never go. A bellboy yawns beside the stair, straightens jackets in the air, while businessmen with empty eyes hide themselves in smoke and lies. The singer tilts her head just so, lets the blue notes travel low, her voice rough around the seam like silk unraveling in steam. Nobody rushes for the door, nobody keeps score anymore. The room itself seems half asleep, trying hard its ghost to keep. The drummer paints the rhythm thin with brushes soft as winter wind, holding all the aching souls inside. The music's darkened folds near the bar, the crystal gleams, champagne colder than it seems, lipstick stains on folded white napkins drowning in the night. The trumpet bends its final flame, slow and gold without a name, floating through the smoky room like perfume trapped inside a tomb. Candle wax along the tray, last slow dancers fade away, morning waiting pale and blue to silence every note but you. Ivory gloves beside the glass, Slow reflections drift and pass. A red neon outside the pane bleeds softly through the silver rain. The ballroom smells of dust and rose, old cologne and satin clothes, while somewhere near the smoking bar a trumpet warms beneath a star. The singer wears a velvet green dress that shimmers dimly seen, like forest shadows after storms, wrapped around forgotten forms. A tired pianist shuts his eyes, lets the midnight harmonies rise, black and gold and gently worn, like newspapers from the war. Couples move in lazy lines, floating slow through smoke and wine, their footsteps soft against the floor, like tides returning to the shore. Outside the avenue still hums, streetcars shake the window drums, taxi tires hiss and glide through puddles deep and citywide. The drummer barely touches time, thin as dust on old red wine, keeping all the aching room breathing low beneath the tune. Near the stairway chandelier, crystal trembles disappear, fading in the amber glow like little ghosts from long ago. The clarinet bends sweet and strange, warm as letters never changed, while the bass walks dark and deep underneath the room's heartbeat. The singer lowers half a tone, soft as perfume left alone, her voice drifting rich and slow, like smoke with nowhere else to go. Nobody speaks above the band, nobody needs to understand. The music says enough tonight in shades of bourbon gold and white. A waiter folds abandoned coats, ashes sleep in silver boats, and somewhere in the fading haze the room forgets the passing days. Ivory gloves beside the glass, slow reflections drift and pass. Morning waiting pale and thin beyond the jazz and violin. Bubbles died before the toast. No one noticed when. Your glove still rests beside the glass, like it might move again. The ice is thin to quiet cracks in a bucket dressed in gold, and every mirror in this room feels a little too controlled. Champagne gone flat on a velvet night, still dressed like it's brand new. All that sparkle with nowhere to land, all that shine without you. Don't fix the light, let it flicker on. Let the edges show through. Some things fade more honestly when they're losing their view. The record slips, then finds its place, like it forgot the line. A laugh too loud from somewhere else cuts sharper than the wine. I tilt the glass but don't quite drink, just to watch it catch the flame, and think how easy rooms can lie when everything looks the same. Champagne gone flat on a velvet night, still dressed like it's brand new. All that sparkle with nowhere to land, all that shine without you. Don't fix the light, let it flicker on. Let the edges show through. Some things fade more honestly when they're losing their view. If I stay until the candles bend, will the shadows rearrange? Or does every perfect evening end exactly just as strange? Champagne gone flat, still in my hand. I never took a sip. The night kept talking over me and let the moment slip. Now every glass reflects a shape that doesn't quite ring true. All that shine, all that borrowed light, and none of it was you. Don't stay too long, my dear. The night runs thin, I fear. The band won't play that tune again, not like it did back then. Don't look my way too slow. Some things we shouldn't know. A glance can say a little too much and break a careful touch. So don't stay too long. Don't turn this this right to wrong. The night is soft, but not that strong. So don't stay too long. Your glass is almost dry. Don't ask the reason why. Some words don't fit inside the air. Once they are spoken there. The lights are leaning low. They flicker, then they go. And shadows stretch across the floor, like they've been here before. So don't stay too long. Don't turn this right to wrong. The night is soft, but not that strong. So don't stay too long. Maybe it's better this way. Maybe we leave it unsaid. Some things sound sweet